And so how many are here for the very first time? So the Brevard Prosperity Initiative, you're going to hear a little bit about it today, and then towards the end we'll kind of talk to you about how to get involved and how to get more engaged. But obviously, you being here is the start. This started around the 10 root causes that they've identified are challenges in poverty, and really we're here today to help create that pathway through collaboration, through strategic conversations, through connecting people to create this as pathways to prosperity. I want to take a moment to thank our sponsors. You'll find as we go on today that we have some incredible technical tools that they have invested to help us create a community and beyond this meeting, keep the dialogues going, keep the connections going and the resources going. And so I want to start out by giving a special thanks to Dwight Bell and his beautiful wife. He's the president, yes. He's the president and founder of Wings of Grace Ministries, dedicated to empowering youth. Wings of Grace mentors teens through programs like its aviation initiative, where students can earn a private pilot license to community service. Isn't that amazing? The organization also provides affordable housing with 30 rental units, 24 more under construction, and 80 planned for youth aging out of foster care. A seasoned real estate investor and licensed pilot, Dwight has led over 4,000 property transactions and continues to inspire young people to aim high. Thank you, Dwight. And I encourage you to get with him, get a tour of what they're doing. He is not only the Grace Ministries, but he's been a hub to bring us together and many things that are happening in the community. And let's see here. So ways that we empower and collaborate throughout Brevard. So obviously being here, this is where we get to hear updates on what's happening. We take each root cause and watch our calendar. We'll do panel discussions so you can hear boots on the ground, what's happening in the area, what are the current stats, what are the opportunities, and what are the challenges. Then towards the end, we have dialogue conversation. You can share about what you're working on in your project, what you need help with. But really, we're bringing businesses together so that we can help become that change. One of the things that we use is our Networker app. We are not using that today, so you'll hear a little bit more about that if you go to Scabby. We use that there. That's a really cool tool where it tracks who you're sitting with and be able to easily follow up. And then towards the end of the day, I'll talk about our Heartbeat community. And in this Heartbeat, this is where we have Ask and Wish List. This is where we post community events. This is really where the connection keeps happening beyond what we're doing today. So on the pathways to prosperity, I always think it's important if you just want to take a moment to identify which most of us can say I'm passionate about all of them, but what one or two speaks to your heart. We'll take just like 2 minutes just to share at your table. I'm passionate about this. It's really important when you get into our community, which ones you are important to you. So just take a moment to connect at your table and just say your name and what you're passionate about. And you'll be able to share about your business towards the end, so just really get into the root cause. Okay.
That's very important.
Okay, we'll go ahead and share our events and stuff in a little bit, make sure everybody has a chance to share,
Okay, thank you.
and we'll get started. Okay, so I'm going to introduce Dan McDowell. He was a former councilman from West Melbourne, president of the Progressive Alliance, and community leader, retired semi. Is there such thing as semi-retired? Healthcare executive and entrepreneur. Dan has a MSc in sustainability from the University of Lincoln, UK. Oh my goodness. I've read this before and I'm just surprised. He's a grandfather of 7 and has been an active member of the community since relocating here from 2010 from the Midwest. He and Susan Connolly were the ones to kind of see this and say, well, let's pull us together, let's connect. So Dan, he's gonna go through some of the stats. Let's give him a round of applause.
Well done, yeah.
So we do need to use the mic so that they can hear us there, if that's okay. And then the score corrects.
Right, I just went through this last night, so thanks Shannon, I know how you are, so I'm gonna move through this very quickly. There's time for questions and discussions later, but I believe, which way do I hit, just plus?
The one below.
There we go,
Okay.
there we go. In any event, today's session obviously is on the employment, so we really want to focus on that. And the concern is, the good news, bad news, I told Shannon, the good news is I'm here. The bad news is my laptop is sitting at a church in Rockledge. They won't open the doors to get that laptop until 1 o'clock. So I was like, boy, the church is blocked up tight. Anyway, so I apologize for that because I did have some additional slides, but as far as we are concerned, we use the Florida Chamber of Commerce in the dashboard. Some of you have seen this. This may be new to some of you, so I just kind of go through this real quick. We look at the numbers, and part of what is concerning here, and this is a lot of data, so just kind of know that kind of focus on the red, yellow, and green. The important thing is we manage and monitor by zip code in this analysis, and there's a whole variety of different ways, and there's no one shoe fits all kind of, one size fits all kind of approach here. It's not cookie cutter. We are a work in progress. We are the Prosperity Initiative. Okay, it doesn't say here's exactly how we're going to do this. Okay, so it will be tailored to different areas and different organizations. But the big picture is what we're experiencing is looking at zip codes and determining that there's 3 levels. There's a level that says life is okay. I'm making, the income is good, it's over X amount of dollars, we're not too concerned, life's good. And that's in green. And we are happy, and no one should apologize for that. They should feel good that they are in good shape. The other part of this is that the yellow says, if you follow the United Way's way of measuring of asset limited, income constrained employee, paycheck to paycheck is the yellow. Okay, and then red is the, you want to pay special attention. Those are area zip codes here in Brevard that we are concerned by. That map, that translated to the map of Brevard, up in northern Brevard, Casey, you can see we have some yellow, which says that tells me we got people paycheck to paycheck. And the reason why this is important, you need to understand, or I can't say this often enough, and I said this even last night, was that 30% this used to represent from paycheck to paycheck prior to COVID. Today, it's 49%. So we are experiencing a lot of folks that are doing great. Yes, keep doing great. But today's focus is going to be on employment. And the reason why it is important is because the numbers did come out and we are actually higher on unemployment currently. And what we need to do is really partner with those organizations that are focusing on how to help the entrepreneurs or help the small business or the larger corporations to engage and get people involved, because the idea is if we take everybody out of prosperity, we all benefit, right? It's the right thing to do in our hearts. And, I say I have an open door, open mind, and open heart policy. And I think that most of you in this room share that philosophy, share those thinking. And I am just honored to be here. I don't want to get into delve into the numbers too much, kind of give you the overall picture.
Couple more slides gets into the, it was from the Florida scorecard, some of the numbers there, but I know our guests will go into much deeper dive. That's it.
Okay, so with that, I'm just gonna leave it. You'll have lots of discussion. Some of you have been here, a lot of you have been here before, but thank you, Shannon.
Thank you, Dan.
One more thing I was gonna say, just kind of keep in mind that our labor, I believe, and hopefully we'll talk about the labor cost, and the reason why it is alarming right now is because we do have higher costs. If you look at our insurance, you look at, our utilities, we do have higher costs here in Brevard specifically that we want to address. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you so much. These three, yes, for the five. Oh, Dan, I need to click this. Dan, I think you're the clicker. It was the numbers that really hit my heart when I was able to see what was going on. And I remember Dan had spent, I think he said like 8 hours pulling together all the kind of what's the story of Brevard. And so Dan, we're so grateful that you're here and that you love numbers, and Tony loves numbers. And last month we did our mid-year update. And so you can see the replay in our community if anybody's interested in a really deep dive. We also have a video that we share from the executive director of the Florida Foundation all about the stats in Brevard. And so that's great. And speaking of December, the second Friday of December event is our end of the year celebration. We also go through some of the stats, and we have the executive director of the Florida Foundation coming to speak. So that'll be a special event. We will be at the Palms on University. Alberta helped us set that up, but this is our home base, but we will be there for the December. So please put that on your calendar. That's going to be a significant event. I wanted to highlight real quick, another opportunity where we collaborate and connect is virtually on the 26th. And this is an opportunity where we take about 10 minutes to go through the platform and how it works, but then we dive in on what are you working on? What are we celebrating? How can we help you, and how can we make those connections? And so this is why we're all here today, to talk about employment and uniting to create jobs and career pathways in Brevard. And so I am just thrilled to have our moderator today, Marcus Smith. He's a financial consultant, entrepreneur, and community leader dedicated to economic growth. A U.S. Air Force veteran, thank you, an MBA graduate. He leads operations at Impact Financial Group, recently elected as the Melbourne City Council. I forgot to honor our delegates, so I'm doing that now. Thank you, Marcus, for being here. And, I gotta remember that. And anybody here from the school board? Anybody here from Brevard County Schools? Okay. Marcus brings expertise in finance, business mentorship, and civic engagement, making a lasting impact across Brevard County through service, strategy, and leadership. So let's give him a big round of applause.
Good morning, everyone.
Yeah.
So I know that we've, how many panels have we had so far? Who's been attending the prosperity? This is the third one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, what were the other three?
Housing.
Health, education, housing.
Okay.
And yeah, I think this is the fourth.
Okay. So this is a new format. I've been attending the Brevard Prosperity Initiative meetings for the last few years, and I'm just so excited about the growth. And as I look around the room, look at the growth of the people that are here, right? And the variety of people that we're getting. So Shannon has done that introduction. We want to get to the panel, and I'm going to introduce the panel of folks who are going to be here. John Thomas, she says he has to recognize all of the elected officials. He's not here, but we got a video for him. So we're going to play this video.
Oh, it gets testimonial too for an intro.
Is it going to play? I hit twice here, Shannon, or? I have to hit on the keyboard. Can't get it. Yeah, I know, but it was on keyboard.
Hi, this is John Thomas, Chief Executive Officer of the Space Coast Home Builders and Contractors Association. And I'm sorry I can't be with you today, but Sheena did ask me to speak to you on the challenges facing our youth for employment opportunities. And so I'd like to share with you a few thoughts. I believe one of the biggest challenges to employment opportunities for our youth is making sure that our employers across Brevard County are aware of the training and certifications that our students at Brevard Public Schools are receiving in the CTE program. We have career and technical education programs, our vocational programs, for you those that are old school, and they are stretched across many different industries. And these students are receiving training and are available for internships. And oftentimes the companies are not either aware of those internships opportunities that are available to them, or they are looking for a full-time employee. But these internships are a farm system that can provide some qualified employees for the future. And if they were just given an opportunity to get some experience coming out of these programs or while they're in these programs, the entire Brevard community would benefit. The second thing I think that we need to do is to improve the relationship between industry and Brevard Public Schools. There's a strong relationship right now, but it can be better. And we need to have our companies in all different industries, from construction to aerospace, be more engaged with our school system, with the CTE programs that are going on, so we can make sure that the training and the certifications that are being issued to these students are with the industry here in Brevard County. So we just need to have a better cooperation, actually utilize some of those companies' employees as instructors, even temporary guest speakers. There needs to be a stronger relationship so we can make sure that we're developing the type of workforce that our companies here in Brevard County do. Shannon, I hope I didn't take too much time. But those are a couple of the issues that I believe we're facing our kids today, and getting employment opportunities. And sorry I wasn't there today, but I appreciate your time and attention and listening to this video. I hope you guys have a great day.
So I worked with John Thomas over the years on a number of few things. So let me tell you a little bit more about him. I was supposed to do this first, but John Thomas is a proud Brevard Schools graduate and a lifelong champion for our community. Now CEO of the Space Coast Home Builders and Contractors Association, his career spans education, athletics, law enforcement, and public service, including roles as Associate VP at Florida Tech. Oh, I didn't know that. Head football coach and two-term Melbourne City Council member. I knew that. Elected to the school board in 2024, John brings proven leadership and a deep commitment to advancing education in Brevard. So that was John Thomas. So very, very lots of good information. And as you all captured some of the notes about what he's hoping on. All right, we're going to talk a little bit more about that on the panel. So that was a great start. So let me also introduce our panel. Let me talk to them about them a little bit, and then I'll invite them up. Stephanie Robinson is a project coordinator and business liaison at Career Source Brevard, Flagler, Volusia. So Career Source Brevard has now expanded to Brevard, Flagler, and Volusia counties, right? So that's important. With degrees in elementary education and business administration from UCF, Stephanie is passionate about workforce development, especially in advanced manufacturing, aerospace, and defense industries. Thank you, Shannon. She serves as the scholarship and STEM representative for AFCEA Space Coast, sits on the American Space Museum Board, and is deeply involved in STEAM outreach through multiple county partnerships. Stephanie's commitment to collaboration, education, and career pathways is helping shape the workforce of tomorrow. Stephanie? Welcome, Stephanie.
Oh, Stephanie.
All right, there we go. Now the screen's gonna keep up with you. Heather Allen, okay, is a lifelong Brevard County resident and passionate advocate for student success. As Assistant Director of Career Services at Eastern Florida State College, she has spent over a decade helping thousands of students and alumni discover their passions, perfect their resumes, and prepare for the local job market. An alumni of both EFSC, and UCF, Heather holds multiple degrees and the Global Career Development Facilitator certification. She's currently pursuing her master's in career and technical education. Wow. Beyond her professional work, she's a devoted animal rescuer and proud new grandmother to her grandson, Milo. Please welcome Heather Allen. All right, so we have a video that we're gonna play before we get started with the round of questions for the panel.
Are you trying to decide which career is right for you? Need a resume? Looking for a job? Career Services can help. In this brief orientation, I'll introduce you to all of the Career Center services for students and alumni. These services are also offered remotely, allowing you to access them even if you're completing your degree online. There are 4 Career Centers, 1 on each campus. This means that you can get the exact same services from any campus. To schedule an appointment with your campus's Career Center coordinator, simply click the appointment link on the EFSC Career Center webpage. You might be thinking, isn't the Career Center only for people who don't know what they want to be when they grow up? Actually, the Career Center offers 2 main types of services, career planning and job-related services. In other words, if you don't know what career or major is right for you, we can help you discover some possibilities. If you know your career and major but want to take it even further, we can help you gain experience, write your resume, and prepare for your interview. Our career assessments help you learn more about yourself and what careers might match you best. They're a great place to begin your career exploration journey. These assessments include information about careers in Florida, Brevard County, and beyond. You can see how prevalent certain careers are, how much you'll make, what degree you'll need, and which employers will most likely hire you in Florida. You can also explore matching degrees and programs available at EFSC. Handshake is our online job board. Local and out-of-area employers alike post on this board for Eastern Florida State College students and alumni. The jobs you'll find on Handshake are part-time, full-time, seasonal, temporary, and even remote. The employers posting on Handshake realize they're working with students who need flexible hours and entry-level work, so the jobs tend to be very accessible for you, your schedule, and your experience. Like all of our services, it's free to use. You can access Handshake through the Eastern Florida State College website or download the Handshake app and take it with you on the go. Scan the QR code on the screen to claim your Handshake account now. In addition to job hunting, you can also attend live virtual hiring events and job fairs through Handshake. We have on-demand employability workshops available under the Resources tab as well for your enjoyment. When did you write your resume? You may have written it years ago, or last week, or perhaps you've never written a resume before. Whatever the case, the Career Center can help you draft or improve your resume. Resume appointments can take up to 1 hour and may take between 1 and 3 appointments or emails to finalize. This way, we can ensure your resume is as polished as possible. Did you know that employers only look at your resume for 6 seconds if nothing catches their attention? Or that your physical address might prevent you from being accepted for a certain job? The Career Center researches current resume trends, and we look forward to helping you produce a resume that impresses. If you want to get started updating your resume right away, check out Upkeep, an online program that helps you write a step-by-step resume. Like all of our services, it's free to use, and you can find it on the EFSC website. Once you've finished writing a resume with Upkeep, schedule an appointment with a Career Center coordinator to review and format it. Of course, the other side of resume writing is interviewing. Have you ever had an interview before? You might have been asked questions like, why do you want to work here? What is your greatest weakness? Or tell me about a time when you provided customer service. Perfect Interview is a mock interview simulator that helps you create confident, well-prepared responses to the most commonly asked interview questions. Access the Perfect Interview tool from the Eastern Florida website. Create your account, then program it however you like. You can then practice answering pre-recorded interview questions with your webcam. There's even a built-in coach button that can help you understand specific questions, why an employer might ask them, and how to give a strong response. If you have trouble setting up or finding Perfect Interview, contact a Career Center coordinator for assistance. At the Career Center, we're passionate about connecting you with employers. We invite you to participate in our job fairs, which feature dozens of employers either virtually on Handshake or face-to-face on a specific campus. We also host regular career cafe events where you can meet with a featured employer and interview on the spot. Make sure you claim your Handshake account so you can register as well as receive notifications about upcoming events. Career Spots videos are mobile-friendly features you can watch from our website. They're fun to watch and packed with helpful information, like top 10 resume mistakes to avoid, how to dress for an interview, how to navigate a job fair, pitfalls to avoid on social media, and much more. Are you interested in professional development or improving a skill? The Career Center offers a variety of both in-person and self-paced virtual workshops in many relevant topics, including time management and organization, professional communication, SMART goals, professional etiquette, resume writing, and interview preparation. You can view all these workshops on demand from the Career Center webpage of the EFSC website. You can schedule an appointment with the Career Center by scanning the QR code on the screen or by clicking the appointment link on our website. Remember, everything offered at the Career Center is free and remote accessible. We look forward to helping you succeed this semester.
All right, thank you. So that was a video just explaining a little bit more about the career services. So before, lots of information there. We've already touched on a lot of things, and I think we all have different experiences. But I also want to let Stephanie talk a little bit about what Career Source does, and this will be her live video.
Hi, all. So Career Source Brevard County offers very similar career services to job seekers. We are mostly focused on getting that individual employed. So we're more of a post-education focus, where they're obviously figuring out what you want to do and what education can you get into. We do offer those services as well, and then we can actually fund some programs for these students. So if they're eligible, then we can put them through the wonderful program offered at Eastern Florida State College. And then we help them get placed afterwards. That's our main focus. Everything that we do is customer centered, focused on getting them employed. And then on top of the career services, which like I said, are almost identical, we have business services. And I'm part of the business services team, and we offer job posting and recruiting services. We have job fairs. I can get labor market information for the employers so they can update their wages, making sure they stay competitive. We have like talent pool analysis to figure out where the talent is hiding in Brevard, and they're not hiding their talent. And
That's why we're here.
yeah, exactly. We also offer funding for work-based training, so the employers can hire someone who's maybe a little less skilled than they really require, and we can reimburse 50% of their wages while they're training to be able to be independent in that job. Or we have work experience programs where we pay 100% for an internship type individual to come in and get some work experience, or we can pay to upskill incumbent employees with our incumbent worker training. So we're really here for the community, for the workforce. And I personally am involved in a lot of education outreach and initiatives that come before that, because I am trying to develop the workforce for my customer, which is the business.
So wonderful resources that we have in Brevard County. And let me share something with you all that no one has really ever heard. I don't really talk about it publicly. So as Shannon was going through my bio, so I have an electrical engineering degree from Georgia Tech. I also have an MBA. So that was the track that I was on, right? And in the Air Force, I did project management, which is acquisition, IT. So a lot of IT, a lot of technology. But one of the reasons why I decided to stay and run for office here is because there's such an opportunity here in Brevard County that I have never really witnessed in other locations. In the military, I've lived in several locations. I'm originally from Atlanta, Georgia, and I saw all of these aerospace defense employees. I saw all this space industry. I saw all of this technology. And you got the big boys, but then what about the second tier companies and the third tier companies? And in my mind, I'm just wondering about that. And then I'm also wondering about this disconnect. So I do a lot of work in the community, and I see people that could potentially, as we said, if we're going to grow, we can grow our own opportunity. And that's why I'm a big believer in proactive in doing that, right? And I see this, I see a lot of professionals, and they're like, they used to call it male boring, right? And so, but again, those are things that we could change. We just have to have the right proactive mindset, and we have to approach things in a way. So for me, the work that I was doing, I decided to run for office, and I wanted to be a part of the change as opposed to just complaining about it or being frustrated with it, right? So I think this is very applicable as we talk about workforce development, because that is something that's near and dear to my heart, right? And I just wanted to share that with you because I think that a lot of times I hear people saying, well, there's really no opportunity or this is not here, but we can be a part of creating the change. We can be a part of creating the culture. We can be a part of improving our communities. We can be a part of improving, helping the individuals to improve their quality of life and raise it to the next level. So I just wanted to give that foundation because I think that's important, and I want to share that with you all. So now let's talk, right? So John Thomas video, we've heard a lot of information here. So let me ask my panel, John talked about training availability. So let's all of us sort of talk a little bit about training availability and how that fits into what we're talking about with the 10 roots. What is it? The 10 root causes of poverty, right? I'm sorry. Yeah, thank you. 10 root causes of poverty. So let's talk about that.
Great. So Eastern Florida State College, we, as many of you know, used to be a community college. We are still very much a college for the community, even though we're a state college and we have 4-year degrees now. Many of our programs are 2-year program certification programs. It is to turn those specialists, those operators into specialists with the employers. It's to bring people to the next level. We have short-term programs like our CNC program that often Career Source will help fund the students in. And that's one of the 4 classes. And someone can become a CNC operator. They make lots more money than we do. But we're not in education to make money. We're in education to like help people. But we have so many different training opportunities. We have such a robust IT area. We have aerospace technicians. We have soldering and assembly and composites. We have welding, all the medical things, dental, veterinary, you name it. We have the people that are on the ground doing the work coming out of our college. And many of them, like I said, are even less than a 2-year certification. So they can come in, focus on who they are, what really resonates with them, and then graduate and go get good jobs. And that's really fantastic. Another big part of it that John mentioned is about internships. And there's a desperate need for IT companies to step up and give our students internships. I have data science interns that can't find an internship. I have IT project management interns ready to go. They can't find an internship. The employers that we are working with tell me, I've lost all my veteran employees. They've all left. I have all new employees. I can't very well have someone brand new who's learning their job to be a mentor for your student. And that's hand in hand. It's not just what they learn in the classroom and learn in the labs, because many of it is hands-on learning, but it's out in the community, in the real world, giving these kids an opportunity that they've never had a job before. These are COVID kids. When they were home, should have been going to have jobs in high school, there was nothing for them. They were in COVID. And so it's a completely new era that we're in, and we all have to work together and navigate those waters so that our future is what prospers.
Thank you. Thank you. Stephanie.
COVID kids is the new match people. When you mentioned, yeah, a lot of companies have their senior employees leaving, they're retiring, and they weren't prepared for the rapid turnover in the workforce. And therefore, we can't really do the internal training and apprenticeship style mentoring that they've done in the past. And so it really does come down to training pre-employment. And I think a lot of the students, a lot of the youngins today really look at that end goal, because they're just finished focused. I mean, everyone wants everything to happen right away. And so they can't picture themselves in that end goal. They see it as unattainable, but they don't see the little chunks that they can take out to get to that end goal. And that's where the college credit programs come into play, and the rapid training, rapid credentialing, and alternative education comes into play that's now being offered, where you don't necessarily need a degree to get your foot in the door. You can get your foot in the door, and then quite often your employer will pay for the rest of your education. And that's what we really need to be teaching these kids in school, is that you don't have to go to a 2-year or 4-year degree right out of high school. You can go to work in a meaningful career and work your way up from there. So I think it's really a mental shift for all ages, for the employers that are used to doing the training in-house, and for the kids, and for everybody.
Great response. And as I'm listening to you, I think one of the key things that's missing is the employers. We have to figure out how to get the employers energized to do something a little bit different, because It's so much, there's only so much we can do to ask the individuals to keep stepping up, go to training certification, but if the employers are not there to receive them, or if the employers are not doing anything innovative, are there any employers in the room right now? So we need to figure out that, so maybe working, that's a challenge, right? And that kind of leads us to the next point that John made, and there's a few other points. We talked about industry and getting them to partner with the school system, but I do a lot of work with Brevard and Ed, and I know they're not here today, and they have some really good programs, right? So a lot of resources, but how do we maybe figure out ways to get industry more involved so that the students have a pathway to prosperity?
Well, I definitely think doing things like this, being at chamber events, those of us that are in these positions where we're working with students, where we're working with the community, where we see the need, that we're going out and meeting people and connecting with people, and online networking is more important than ever. And being able to, for someone to know that, oh, wait a minute, there's contact there that I can go to. And I could go get help there, and that could give me a direction, or I could refer someone to this agency or the school, and they're gonna help them get where they know they need to go. And we have, like the video said, we have Handshake, which is our job board. I go to Boyd, Florida, and job boards get bad enough. Let's face it. Indeed is an aggregator. It's not a job board. It goes out and finds jobs wherever there are. It's Google for jobs. And people that are job seekers do not understand that. There's a disconnect. And I don't know if employers always understand that. When I see it's a job board, Handshake in Florida, they choose to post their jobs there. They choose to advertise to get students and alumni, people that are involved in career source. So it is a designated way to connect with your future employee. And so I think that makes a big difference as well.
One way is for all of you all to go out to industry events that you may think don't really apply to you in your industry, but they really do. And I know Mr. Joe is very good at it. We're both just like sitting at KSC yesterday in a procurement event. And this is an industry event that really doesn't relate to us, but I get up and I ask NASA and the contracting agencies, how is workforce development involved in your procurement process? Because we know that they're bidding on these contracts that they don't have personnel for, and they didn't even submit the cost for it in their proposal. And it's just a whole big old mess, and it messes with all of the contractors because now they're stealing workforce from everybody. And I didn't get very far with that, other than it's basically
Nice concept, not thought. Let's keep working.
it's legislation. It's going to be there's a federal acquisition regulations guide that will have to be changed, and legislation has to do that. But at least now I understand the process a little bit more. I understand where it's coming from. That NASA can't just write, you must have X amount of dollars allocated for workforce development. It just doesn't work like that. But really understanding industry, and then I plugs Career Source, obviously, and said we have amazing services, shamelessly. And it just really, just putting yourself out there, it's hashtagging or tagging, right? Anybody involved in your projects on LinkedIn, just raise awareness of everybody's initiatives really goes a long way also. And then the right employers use it and takes advantage of it. I mean, it only really takes that milestone moment, right, to make a change. So
Right.
every opportunity.
Yeah, so as we talk about that, and maybe the pivot to maybe figure out how to work with more employers, because in my mind, it's like employer have needs, and we got these individuals that have needs, just got to figure out, but it has to start with the employer, because I think we'll run into a wall if we get all these individuals certified and trained, and then all of a sudden there's nowhere for them to plug in, right? Yeah. So let's talk about, in particular, ways that individuals can actually get into your programs.
Okay, so We have several different types of recruiting that we do. We go into the high schools and we do dual enrollment and recruiting. Where that allows students that are as young as sophomore and high school. We had a 14-year-old. Come last fall, it was amazing. I know, it's shocking. And they can come and get some of those basic classes and can graduate with their AA at the same time as they graduate with their high diploma. So that gives them a leg up. They can continue at Eastern Florida or they can go on to another school. Other students that for some reason, if they have a barrier that they can't come to Eastern Florida as a traditional dual enrollment student, we offer dual enrollment courses in the high school. So they can still be part of the program and be in the high school and they teach our curriculum. And career services even has a part of it. We go visit the high schools in these classes and share information with these students. And so as far as recruiting people and getting people into our programs, our enrollment is higher than it's been in years. So that's great that people are seeing the benefit. But I also think a lot of that too is that I think there's a fear about going into industry right out of high school where I'm old. When I was a kid, we graduated, we went and got a job and then we worked in our school. And you know, it was just like, it just kind of went along. And like you were saying, my employer paid for a lot of my education over the years so that I could go further and further and further. And I utilized those opportunities that were available to me. But I also had a job when I was 14 years old. You know, I said, what are you talking about? Right there. That's no longer here anymore. An Albert girl. But again, those students just it's just a different kind of world today. And students don't understand what a job is. They think it's a continuation of school. Example, I had an internship student for an IT program. Go to one of my partner sites on Beachside, who I've used him for years. He calls me after the interview and says, Heather, his mother came to the interview with him in the interview. It's okay because I'm giving him a remote assignment. You have to talk to these students. They would not bring their mother to the interview. And unfortunately, that's not the first time I've heard some students that my mom go with me. And so, you know, I understand the helicopter parents. I'm a parent myself and a grandmother, but we do a disservice to the next generation. If we're not letting them be independent and fly. And I think it's a community's job to encourage young people to be independent and think for themselves. I think that makes a big difference.
So Steph, I know you're talk about institute program, and your demographics are a little bit different. Maybe talk about the American people.
You can come into any of our centers, anyone can come into any of our centers, anyone. Our services are free to everyone. We have online resources and most of the individuals don't need to go further than that. They're really there just to look for jobs or to take an assessment or something like that. In order for us to spend money on an individual, they have to be eligible through the Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act, which I abbreviate to say it's based on family income, household size, and employment, like employment status at the time of application. So it's a scaling wage that will have you apply based on your family size, and then with veterans, recently separated veterans, or dislocated workers who have been unemployed for a while, displaced homemaker, which is someone who's been at home for a while, maybe taking care of their children or a caregiver of some other sort, just getting back into the workplace. Those are eligible qualifications, but not everyone is eligible for the funding that we have, but everyone is eligible for our services. We do resume assistance and mock interviews, job searches, and all of that. We spearheaded a lot of customized trainings, mostly through Eastern Florida State College. We did some rapid credentialing for welding and soldering, but then three off-site non-ETPL, which is our training provider list, trainings. One is through Code Craftworks. Shannon Landon is here. She created a software development training specifically for an employer. That this employer gave contingent offers to those who went through their training, and then upon completion, they got hired. So we were able to fund that. We did a sheet metal riveting cohort through Shiloh Aviation Maintenance Academy. They have a partnership with Embry-Riddle for high school, and we took it one step further to the post-secondary education. And the one that we have, our last one that we have going on right now, is through American Legion. And we created a CTS, Certified Technician Specialist Training for AV technician, to put those individuals, and we came up with a term, facilities technology, something like that. It's that weird space in between an IT person and a facilities maintenance person, that the IT is like, that's not my job, and the facilities person is like, that's not my job. It's that person's job. So we're creating these customized trainings that these individuals can go through, that they don't necessarily need even a high school diploma. Most of them have a high school diploma or GED, but they feel like they belong in this training, and it's creating new opportunities.
Well, thank you for sharing that. To speak on the American Legion opportunity a little bit more. So that was probably the one that we're doing now with the American Legion. It's probably my third workforce development initiative. The first two I tried were IT related. I was working with a nonprofit called Tech Bridge out of Atlanta, and we actually had 6 students go through in order to get certified in Microsoft Cloud Fundamentals, and also ServiceNow, which is another industry enterprise software. And out of those 6 students, maybe 3 got high-paying jobs, $60,000 or more jobs. The second one was another IT, and then this third one, which is the audio visual, as she talked about it, she's looking at it from the facility side, but we're also looking at it from a maybe you want to be a DJ, maybe there's so many places around here that need audio visual support. And so we're creating a workforce, and we're doing hands-on with them, and then they'll go and take the certification test towards the end. There's a 12-week cohort that we're doing. So there are ways to be innovative, but I think one of the things that we're missing, even as we're doing these little offshoots, is a true workforce development place. So that may be something that we would want to really work on, so that way it's a targeted place to really, and you hear one of the things is, I can give you certification, but maybe you don't even know how to be an employee. Maybe just showing up, maybe an assessment of your EQ, not your IQ, is what we really may need, right? So there's a number of different ways that we can approach this. So we have about 10 minutes left. I want to open up for questions, unless y'all have any final comments or things you want to.
You mentioned EQ, and one of my favorite terms that I learned recently at the Family Promise of Brevard was, it's not only soft skills and the skills gap, it's the cultural gap. And it's kind of the way that you brought up is going to affect your soft skills. And I just heard it today, if you never sat around a dinner table with your family, you don't know how to behave around a dinner table. So if you've never been in a professional setting, you don't know how to behave there. So it's not just the soft skills. They literally, have you never been in that situation? It goes way deeper than just teaching someone a skill. It's the situation and the how you want.
I love that, and I just want to add real quick, one of the things that we're focused on in career services is bringing to light what AI cannot do. And AI cannot have empathy. You know, AI is great at analyzing data, that's fantastic, but you need a person to begin that creativity that AI would take you down that rabbit hole. And we are really promoting to our students those soft skills, exactly this communication, being able to look somebody in the eye when you have a conversation, connecting in a real human way with another person. And that's so important. And I'm gonna give a shameless plug here as well. We are having a job fair for part-time, pretty much geared for students or older people to open to the community as well in October on our Palm Bay campus. So it's called for college students, and Melissa, raise your hand, Melissa. She's got some more information about that. If you want to get that from her before we leave, please do, because we'd love for you guys to come and be a part of it. Or if you know someone that's looking for a part-time opportunity, they can come and be a part of it right here in Palm Bay.
Awesome. All right. So again, great discussion. I want to open up for questions. Are there any questions in the audience or comments? I'm sure I saw a couple people leaning in. Oh, okay. Go ahead, Brandon. Yeah.
Appreciate this time. So my question is, you talked about Heather, you mentioned how a lot of these organizations, they don't want to do these internships because they don't see the value in it. So a couple years ago, I led an initiative in Oklahoma with Lieutenant Governor's Office and the Career Tech in Oklahoma, which is the top 3 in the United States with career techs. And the biggest thing that we ran into whenever we were trying to get Boeing on board is they needed a value proposition. They needed you to explain to them why it was valuable. They needed to understand that it costs $12,000 to hire a new employee. They need to break those things down. So in case everyone will walk into that, I'd love to share the materials I put together for that. Because that's definitely needed, and that's definitely a model I think Brevard County as a whole really benefit from. And presenting in a way that, as Heather was mentioning, in a way that's likable to them. Like we're used to presenting in a way that's used to like how we like to be presented. But like I'm doing my doctorate right now studying Gen Z and Gen Alpha, and the way they operate things completely different. It's based off how they were raised. So we have to present things to them in a way that they want it presented to them. Because if we're going to say, hey, this is what it is, they're like, don't care. You know, I'm going to play my video games, you know, so you understand that process. So if there's ever want a conversation, I'd love to have that. But value proposition for the employers is huge for them to understand why they should do it. Great comment.
I'd love to have that.
Yeah. And that one final, another point is that our CTE programs are really strong, but another point that I'm finding is what about the people who are out of high school and never went to college? They're just living at home, failure too much, or things like that. I really think that sometimes we forget about those individuals in our programs, and we really got to make sure, even as we start to do this asset mapping and all those things and pathways to prosperity, I think that a part of empowering the community is reaching those people. And they could be anywhere from age 23 up to 50. I mean, but they're just there looking for opportunities, and there are things that we can plug them into. I think that's another question. Yes. Skin. Good morning.
Hi, my name is Tina. When I heard Shannon, earlier this week, when I heard Shannon earlier this week, I had compassion for the prosperity initiative. And, you guys can hear me?
Can't hear you over here.
Oh, sorry, is that better? All right,
See the outside voice.
I don't like talking to people, so sorry. But I thought about Eastern State College and I thought about the career source. And I have a question and then I'm gonna give you guys something that I can offer to support. So I am a small business owner. I'm out in financial management, so I have 2 master's degrees in accounting and financial management. And one of the issues that I've noticed, even being from the Black community, I'm actually the 1st generation college Haitian family. So my parents came from Haiti. They don't understand the culture. Something that I think is bridging the gap, especially from my background and coming from parents like myself, I did not have anyone to help me to support or give me the resources or the tools that I needed as an adult. So I'm in my 30s now. And I graduated high school at Bayside in 2007. I did not realize it was better to go to a public university than a private university. So I went to a private university thinking it was better because that's what everybody said until my first 2 years and I realized I was throwing away all this money. What I wanted to offer and also ask a question, I want to partner with you guys to become one of those liaisons, because I used to be a liaison before I end up changing industries, is supporting those families and say, these are the resources. When I became a mom about 5 years ago before my daughter passed away, I didn't have anyone to tell me about speech delay. My daughter was speech delay. She was very intelligent. She was gifted. I didn't know there was resources at the school board. Like I have phone numbers now. I give parents just who talk to me at church or on the street. There are resources at the school board. There are resources in the city hall. There are counseling. Like I'm a Christian counselor and I'm a grief life coach. So, but people don't know where to go. And a lot of times it's not that they don't know, the children don't want to, or the youth don't want to. They don't have the support, and the school can only do so much. The high school's only giving so much. So we as business leaders who's been through those trials and tribulations should be like that, reach in that help. So my question is, how does a person like me who does want to be a liaison and they don't know how to interview, I'm willing to come in and teach somebody how to interview, teach them the things that the tools like me, I can give free accounting support, tax support and things like that. How does a person like me who have those tools, who runs a business like that, can help and support those families?
Great comment and question, and I know we're getting close on time. I would say that being here in the Prosperity Initiative is a good start, right? Because some of the things that we wish that we had aren't in place currently, right? And even as I talk about community outreach and because high school students are getting a lot of support and things like that, but I think that there's a few missing gaps as we figure it out, and I think we need to just build it, conceptualize it, and we build, ask those kind of questions, and then we figure out. Anybody want to chime in on that question?
So I would just say that we all need to bleed into each other. You know, none of us needs to be a silo. And Career Source Brevard or Flagler and Eastern Florida State College, we've been partners for years. And we've done initiatives together, so we've had grants together, we work very well together. And we absolutely, there are gaps. And we have we have events like Launch for Success for our students. We have business people come in and do mock interviews with students and practice their 30-second elevator pitch and give them feedback. And it was well attended, but like any event, it could always be better attended. And so I think more opportunities like this, this is the name of the game. Us talking to each other, seeing what's available, knowing who are people, having one contact somewhere can really just launch your ability to connect with that organization and help so many people.
And if you're on the Heartbeat app, I posted, I think it was last week or a couple of weeks ago, with the crosswalk referral system.
Sure.
And if you're in the crosswalk referral system, you apply, you put what services you offer, and then anybody, not just Career Source, but all of the agencies that are in the system can refer individuals to you if they feel like someone needs your service. So I would highly recommend getting onto the crosswalk referral system. And if you see someone who might need that mentorship, then we help them in their way.
And I'll say, I mentioned asset mapping, but we're working on things, right? We're building things. You've heard the 922 crew, you've heard about Simpara, other things. So I think that we keep those kind of things on the forefront, keep it on the radar, and then we work on it, and then we measure our results. We measure, are we actually, helping individuals? Are we helping employers? And then we continue to evolve and make it so. We're closing out, and I'll make this final thing. So this was a panel to talk about workforce development, workforce initiatives. And on the 10 root causes of poverty, I think this one fits into the education and training model. This is one that's near and dear to my heart. When I ran my campaign, one of my 4 pillars of progress was small nonprofit and small business development, and then also workforce development. Because from my standpoint, I see those as a way of empowering people. Because even if I put you in a housing, if you're not self-sufficient, if you're not bringing any income, I don't know how long you may be able to sustain that lifestyle. So I'm a real big believer in empowering the individuals so that way self-sustainment, and it's not going to be easy, right? And because maybe mental, maybe emotional things that they're dealing with. But I think that as we create a continuum of empowerment, we can start to put people on a pathway to prosperity, right? And that's why even as a financial planner, I deal with those kind of things on the financial side of helping people to be more empowered in that way. So that's our panel. Thank you all for your time. Thank you for being on this panel. All right. Dr. Shannon.
Awesome, thank you so much. That was oh my gosh, I learned so much, and I'm really excited about Stephanie is going to be, if you have, Career Source is a part of the Florida Chamber at a statewide level. So they have so many resources, both of them to really plug in, and she'll be putting that into Heartbeat. So the initiative started with really asking this simple question: who is already doing the work, and how can we support them better? And that's how we use the data and collaboration, and we start having the real impact. And so I just wanted to highlight a tool that I've used. I love hearing you guys have job boards. Has anybody been to this Facebook group?
Yep.
Oh my gosh, I've hired at least 11 people off of here. And what I love about it is, as a community, if you go anywhere with an employment sign where somebody's hiring, you'll go in here and you just post it, and it helps all these people looking for work. This is one of the largest ones I've seen on Facebook. It's run by, I think it's Joseph's Ministry. But look at this number here.
Wow.
And this is our community in action. I mean, this is phenomenal what's here. So I invite everybody to tap in. And again, if you're out and you see anybody that's hiring, take a picture of the sign and post it there. This is getting directly in front. There's so many people on there saying, I'm looking for this type of job. I'm great at this skill. Now we're gonna get into our roundtable discussions, and we're gonna do it a little different today. So, and I know that you guys all know each other. You guys wanna kind of swap? You do, okay. Does anybody mind, will you stand up if you don't mind swapping with 2 of these ladies or 3 of these ladies? Okay, just go ahead and swap seats real quick. And then Tom, you can have my seat up here if you want, so you can get the networking. And is there a table without somebody sitting there? Okay. If you want, and I just want to make sure that Dwight gets in. Okay, perfect.
Good here.
I think we're good, yes. No more than 5 at a table. Yes, and we're gonna go ahead and say goodbye to everybody say goodbye to the people watching us online. Right here, bye.